Hello everyone, today we're going to cover basic mean, median, mode, and range, which are measures of center in AP Stats. So we have a question above that asks or tells us that in a survey asking about how many pairs of shoes one owns, we have 10 people that answer the question. Now their answers are represented by these values: 0, 1, 1, 3, 2, 7, 4, 4, 5, and 6. So keep in mind that these are going to be equal to the pairs of shoes that they own. So we have our questions here. We'll go through them one by one. Part A says find the mean. So the mean right here is going to be, the mean right here is going to be the sum of your numbers over the number of numbers. So the sum of your numbers divided by the number of numbers. So we'll go through this quickly. So for part A, find the mean. So what we want to do is we're going to take the sum of all our data points. So 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 7 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 over the number of data points, which in this case is going to be 10 because 10 people answered the question. So doing the calculation, you get 1, 2, 5, 5 plus 2, 7, 14, 18, 22, 27, and we'll get a total of 33 as our sum over 10. So you can write this as a decimal or leave it as a fraction, but this value right here is going to represent the mean. Now we'll talk about how to analyze the data in terms of the mean at the very end. Part B says find the median. So for the median, you have to find the middle value. And in order to find the middle value, you have to make sure that all your data points are organized from lowest to highest. So we're going to do that first. So if you notice here, we have a couple of numbers out of place. So we'll start by just numbering them in order. So you have 0, 1, 1, then 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So what is going to be our middle point right here? So we can just find this out by crossing off numbers from the left and right hand side. In case you have a larger number of data sets or data points, you can really just divide the number of data points you have by 2. And if it's even, you're going to have to take the average of the number to the left and to the right. And if it's odd, that will be your median. So in this case, we have an even number of data points. We have 10 data points. So our median is going to be 10 divided by 2, which is 5, is going to be the average of our 4th and 6th values. And we can confirm this by actually crossing out the numbers. So if you cross out from both the left and right hand side, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So these are 5th and 6th values. So our median is going to be the average of these values. So this just becomes 3 plus 4 divided by 2, which is going to be equal to 3.5. So our median is going to be 3.5. Now, find the mode. The mode is just your most repeated number in the data set. So in this case, if we look at our data set, we have 2 1s and 2 4s. So our mode, or our modes in this case, are going to be both 1 and 4 because they are both repeated twice. Okay, find the range. This is the last part of the question. So the range is going to be the highest value minus the lowest value. Now all we have to do is identify both of those values. We know 0 is going to be our lowest value, so we can just note this down, and 7 is going to be our highest value. Okay, so to calculate the range, you do highest minus lowest, which in this case is going to be 7 minus 0, which is 7. So how does this represent the data? Well, first of all, the mean and the median are both measures of centers. So if you have a data set and you'll have a graph like this, your mean and median, so this is known as a normal distribution, your mean and your median will both most likely be centered around the graph. So in this case, our mean is 3.3 and our median is 3.5. These are pretty similar values, so the mean and median will be pretty close to each other. Now, in terms of mode or range, well, mode can be used to describe the peak of a graph. If you put this data as a histogram, you'll end up with bars like this. So this is not exactly representative of the data we have now, but that's how a histogram looks like. So what the mode tells us is it tells us which bar is going to be the highest. So in this case, our mode was both 1 and 4. So if you looked at it on a graph, your bar from 1 and your bar at 4 would both be the highest values on that histogram. And for the range, well, the range is just the range of values that your data contains. So once again, you can do this for both a histogram and a normal data graph, but in the histogram, the range is actually less discernible. So you have 7 minus 0 is your range, but in a histogram like this, that value is just going to be represented in that 0 range. In terms of how it would look on your normal graph, that value is not going to be represented on the graph, so the range actually is used for comparing data sets. Now we'll go over this when we discuss more advanced AP statistics concepts, but at the moment, range is nothing very complex. It's just a basic measure of center. We'll be using mean, median, and mode for most of our measures of centers for our upcoming problems.